Okay, so I don't I don't really know how to start this conversation. Um, it's something that I need to verbally let out and talk about because I haven't talked to anyone about it, and I figured talking, looking at myself would be easier, and it's not. It's actually really hard to like look at myself and have this conversation. Um, but yeah, I have to let it out. I have to let go of this energy and these thoughts and everything attached to it, um, so that I can grow and be. So I don't know. I feel like a bitch. Like I feel I feel and this is crazy because it's just me looking at myself. Yet I still feel embarrassed and like ashamed and weak, and it's like there's so much worse going on in the world. There's so much worse going on to people. But I don't know, it was just a lot harder than I thought it would be. But so when I was 12, I was in the 7th grade, so I think I was about 12. I don't know. I was innocent. Um, my mom had finally got in contact with my dad. I knew he existed, obviously, but I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know much about him. But we got in contact, um, and we planned for me to go visit my dad. I was living on the East Coast in Maryland, and my dad was in Seattle. And to my pleasant surprise, I have a sister. I have a younger sister on my mom's side. I love her to death. But on my dad's side, I not only have a father, but I had an older sister. Well, I have. They're not dead. Um, I have an older sister, an older brother, um, and now I have three younger sisters, four younger sisters. There's a lot of us, but we all look alike. So I was excited to not only meet my dad, but to meet my siblings and these other people that I look like, and you know, I was just excited. So that the summer going into 8th grade is when I flew out. At least I believe that was, yeah, that was the summer going into 8th grade. I flew out to Seattle, and my mom took me before we went. My mom took me shopping at Claire's and bought me all this jewelry, and I was so happy. I was the most excited about this little watch that had a monkey on it. I had a monkey obsession. I still love monkeys, but um, I loved Claire's. Uh, just very, very innocent, you know. But she bought me a jewelry box, and she bought me this monkey watch, and she bought me other earrings and necklaces so that I could have on my trip. And I'm already getting emotional because I'm just thinking about how innocent I was. Um, anyway, but yeah, I vividly remember that because I was just so excited. But yeah. So I flew out that summer and I was spending the summer with my dad. And a lot happened um during that trip. There's a lot that I don't remember. Um but some of the things I do remember, they still stick with me. I've suppressed them, but they still manifest, you know? So, like I said, I was 12. My older sister, was 17 at the time. She was a high school senior. Um, and she was graduating. So, I mean, I guess she wasn't a senior anymore. What the fuck ever, that summertime, just graduating, whatever. My sister's 17. I'm 12. And my younger sister was maybe like 7 or 8. She was old enough for me to like talk to and be around, but not old enough for me to like hang out with. So it was like we would hang out in the house, but she was really young. I think she was like 7. And like I said, I was like 12. Um, so I'm like a tween. I'm figuring shit out. But I hung out with my sister a lot. Me and her look exactly alike, and she had a boyfriend. And I'll just get straight to it. Like, she had a boyfriend, um, who was like, he was either 18 or 19, and I would hang out with them, and her her boyfriend had his own place and had a roommate. Um, his nickname was Smiley, and I would always go with my sister over there to hang out because that was her boyfriend. I was just happy to be around and to be accepted. And her roommate, I mean, her boyfriend's roommate would like hit on me, like tell me I was pretty. He didn't believe that I was 12, all this other stuff. Mind you, he's like 18, 19. Um, and I wasn't used to this attention. I liked it. It was different. I felt accepted. I felt like a part of the conversation. I felt a part of everything that was going on. It was different. It was a little awkward, but I mean, it was. I liked it. I liked the attention. Um, and he would he'd make passes at me and flirt with me and like call me his girlfriend. So in my mind, I was his girlfriend. And my sister didn't say anything. She didn't see anything wrong with it. I remember her saying once when I first met him, like, she's fucking 12, you know. But after that, it was just, whatever. And she was 17, She's just, we were both young. But he one night we were all hanging out over there, and my sister and her boyfriend went into her boyfriend's room and was having sex. And I remember Smiley was pretty much trying to do the same thing. He was trying to have sex, and I wasn't I wasn't ready. I wasn't comfortable. I kept, making jokes and saying no, basically. Like, I'm a virgin. Like, I don't know anything about that. Like, no. And he was he was getting a little upset. He was making comments about how they how they're doing what we're not doing, is what I remember him saying. Because I was still trying to like have fun. He had a dog that I enjoyed. He had a lot of CDs. I was infatuated with how many CDs they all had. So I really liked music. Um, but I was trying to continue having this conversation. I was trying to continue to just hang out and be a fucking kid. And he's making me feel really bad for being a kid and not wanting to have sex with him. So somehow we got into his room. I don't remember, but we were in his room and he's playing music and he starts kissing on me and trying to get me to relax. And sorry, starts kissing on me and trying to get me to relax. And I remember I keep telling, we were in a chair, we were in a computer chair, and I remember I kept trying to tell him like I'm a virgin, like I'm a virgin. I don't I don't want to do this. I don't know. I'm confused. Like, I'm just feeling a lot. And he kept saying, like, he kept telling me basically that I wasn't a virgin. He was like, you're not a virgin. Like, you're lying. All this other shit. And then we had sex in his bed. Like, I remember because he had me bent over in doggy style. And I just remember it just hurt so bad. Like everything just hurt. I swallowed my gum. um, and I was crying. I just felt a lot. I just felt a lot I didn't understand at the moment. But yeah, so we ended up having sex. Um, it was pretty, it shook me up. And so I told my sister. And um, I don't, I don't remember what she said the first time I told her. Um, I just remember her calling me fast, like, and calling me a slut. And I was confused because I was just confused, and I'm still confused because I look back and I'm like, I was fucking 12, you know? I just wanted to be accepted by you. I just wanted to fit in. Uh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to fit in. And so that passes or whatever, and we still we still hang out with them, and it's just it's just like our interactions were different. It was just different. It just didn't feel good. It's just I didn't want to hang out with them. It didn't feel good anymore. And he started like he wasn't. I don't know if he changed or just my perception of him changed, but it was just he was mean. He was mean, and it's just it felt like everyone was like slut shaming me. You're slut shaming a 12-year-old that you manipulated into having sex with you. That shit really hurt. So then we eventually stopped hanging out with them, and she brings me around her other friends. She brings me around. She has other friends, that we hang out with or whatever. No, it wasn't friends. She had people that there were these guys that lived in a complex. There was a Samoan guy that liked her. I remember now. There was a Samoan guy that liked her, and he had a friend too. We were hanging out with them in the complex in the middle of the night. Um, and the friend starts fucking hitting on me again. Well, not again, but this is happening. Like the same thing that happened with Smiley was happening again, but with this new guy who I can't even remember his name. I remember what he looks like. He was brown skin with braids. He had that like Lloyd thing going on. You know how Lloyd is like he's brown skin but he's red, kinda. Um, yeah, he had that thing going. He had pretty hair and braids. But the same thing happened. He's hitting on me, and my sister's making jokes about how I'm a fast ass and all this other stuff. And so something similar happens. We're outside hanging out, and she goes with the Samoan guy to hang out or whatever. And she's like, "You two go hang out in the park." So we're hanging out in the park, and I don't even know how. I can't even fully remember the details, but we end up having sex in the park on this wood thing. It was like one of those wood towers. And I remember the thing I remember the most about that interaction was he kept asking me, like he couldn't get it in. Like he couldn't get inside of me. I don't know if he couldn't find, like, I don't know, he was having issues, and he was telling me to do it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't I don't know where my hole is. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And I remember him saying, "You don't know where your own pussy is?" And I'm just like, "No, like not, not for this." I was just confused. I was confused. I was really confused. And yeah, we had sex. And my sister continued to slut shame me, you know. And fast forward to today, I'm looking back and I'm like, I was 12. You you put me. Why didn't anybody talk to me? Why didn't why didn't she tell me? Why didn't she talk to me? Why didn't anyone tell me that I didn't have to do these things? Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't she protect me? Why didn't she stop these people from hitting me? Like why did she just go along with it? So that was a thing. And then there's my brother, who was a whole nother thing because he tried to have sex with me too. Only he didn't actually penetrate me. I I remember laying on my stomach and him like going in between my legs kinda, and me just like going along with it, being like, "Oh yeah, it's in." And my brother would do this thing where like if I didn't. He didn't, and it's hard for me to even say make, because it's like I'm so self-aware, and it's like I make my own decisions. I'm so independent and headstrong that I'm like, I made the decision to do it. But it's like I was manipulated, and it's hard for me to admit that, because I associate being manipulated with being weak, but in reality I was fucking 12, yo. Like, come on, girl, you were 12. But he would he would get me to give him head, and when I didn't want to, or I didn't, he would basically, I couldn't hang out with him. I wasn't cool. And he would like get all my other siblings, not all my other siblings, but basically the next youngest one, and like his friends, because I would hang out with them when I wasn't at my older sister's house. They all stayed with my dad. My brother and my younger sister stayed with my dad, and I would hang out with my dad and them, like football. My dad was a coach for a little league that my brother played on and my little sister cheered on. So I would hang out with them, and it's like he would make me uncool, and if I didn't give him head or have like fake sex with him, because it wasn't real. And again, nobody said anything. And I vaguely remember my stepmom finding out, and I don't know, it's so vague that I don't know if it actually happened or if my mind is just trying to fill in the blanks, but I vaguely remember her finding out and basically calling me a fast ass too, and saying that she's not going to tell my father, but I need to stop. And that was it. But again, I'm doing these things because I want to be accepted by my family. I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand that I didn't have to do these things. So I remember I started to I remember I started getting really fed up with my brother. And one time he even like had this girl want to fight me because I wasn't like I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to have sex with him anymore. Tried to have this girl fight me. He tried to pass me off to his homeboy, his friend. But I remember I started to tell them that I knew spells. I told them that I was a witch and that I knew spells, and that I would like curse them and put spells on them if they didn't leave me alone. And they believed me. And the main reason they believed me is because one time my brother and I don't remember what we were fussing about, but we were in my little sister's room. She had a crib, and it was a wooden crib, and he was leaning against it. He had this fucking smug look on his face, like he was just like he won. He had this look on his face, like, you're gonna do what I say because I win. And like nothing I was about to say mattered. I can't remember what we were fussing about, but I remember threatening him and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna put a spell on you." And he got a splinter. He got a really big splinter, like a badass splinter from leaning on my little sister's crib. And I believed it. I believed it was me. I was like, holy fucking shit. Maybe I am Matilda. Maybe I am a witch. Which is funny because fast forward, however fucking old I am. I don't know. I was born in 91, however old that is. Fast forward umpteen years, and I'm into the shits a lot deeper. And even honestly, fast forward 2 years, because in ninth grade I started fucking with Wiccan stuff and casting circles, calling the corners. I got my first tarot deck when I was in ninth grade. But yeah, that trip. And then on top of all the unfortunate sexual encounters that I had, someone in the house stole my fucking jewelry. Remember the jewelry box I was telling you about with the monkey watch and all the stuff my mom got me? Somebody stole that. And I know it sounds crazy, I know it sounds stupid. Like, oh, someone stole your jewelry, but I just remember, I feel like I lost a lot of innocence on that trip. Like, with the whole sexual thing, even my fucking jewelry from Claire's, There's just a lot of things associated with innocence that was taken from me. They stole my fucking jewelry. They stole my fucking watch. But that trip really fucked me up. And then on top of it, that bitch, my stepmom, I had acne. She would always tell me to wash that shit off my face. I just didn't feel accepted. I felt used. And I just didn't want to go back. And they stole my fucking jewelry. And it's like, now that I'm older, and I'm finally like thinking about the things that happened, because I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone on my mom's side. I told them they stole my jewelry, and she was ready to go out there. She was ready to fly out there and beat someone's ass. I didn't tell anyone. Like, even to this day, this is my first time like openly like opening my mouth and saying like what happened. This is my first time, and I'm looking back and I'm like, I have my own, like, currently I have a lot of sexual issues that I've been working through for like the past 2 years, and I'm finally realizing that trip to my dad's triggered, like, it was the root of a lot of issues I have now. Like, I was manipulated into having sex at a very young age so that I could fit in, just to ultimately be treated like shit by everyone. There was 3 guys. There was Smiley, it was that Lloyd looking ass nigga, and then it was my brother. Manipulated, and then treated like shit, and then like shamed for it. What that taught like that little girl was that, one, sex is something sex isn't something that, I don't even know how to word it. So you know how like sex is something you do when 2 people love each other and you want to make each other feel good, sex, I serve you, you serve me. My first couple experiences with sex weren't that. My first couple experiences with sex were you're going to do this to be accepted. Not, we're going to do this and we're going to feel good together, or we're going to have this beautiful experience. It's, you're going to do this. It's not going to feel good. They're not going to be considerate of your body, but this is what your body is for. This is what you're going to do to be accepted by men. And so fast forward to older Shamiya, who has issues with receiving pleasure, and has issues with intimacy and accepting that someone's having sex with you because they love you and they want you to feel good also. It's not just this succubus energy, and I think for a long time I suppressed that and I attracted that succubus energy. I had a lot of relationships where more sexual abuse, just that was the trend. They would take from me, and I was like, this is what sex is. Sex is something you do to be accepted. Sex is something you do to please your boyfriend. Sex isn't something that happens to you to please you. Sex isn't something that people do to worship you, or and I'm realizing that it all started there. That trauma, that mentality, that succubus energy that I'm attracting or have attracted for a long time. It all started there. That's where it started. And so now I'm here. Like I said, for the past couple years, I've been working through these control issues and being comfortable with sex and my femininity and all of that. But now I'm realizing that I really have to relearn sex, and what it is, what it isn't. Like I have to relearn it, because even outside of sex, just the concept of receiving, I'm such a giver. I will give my last fucking bone. I will give, and I have such a hard time receiving and believing that I'm receiving with no strings attached, or with like the string of love attached to it, you know. It branches into so many other things, you know. Yeah. And like I said, there's worse things happening to girls out there. But that, honestly, what triggered it was that R. Kelly shit. That fucking the docu-series. I was flipping through the channels and I stopped on it, and I heard this girl saying R. Kelly bent her over and took her virginity, like on the couch, bent over, and she told him that she was a virgin. And that brought back a rush of memories. That brought back me being bent over, trying to tell this guy, like, yo, I'm a virgin, chill. And him saying, oh, you're not a virgin. It triggered all that. It triggered all of these thoughts that I haven't thought about since it happened. It's been over 10 years. And just to be able to see how, to see its effects, and then to just face, and then to face yourself, to face myself, because I feel embarrassed. I never told anyone because I felt embarrassed. I still feel embarrassed. I felt stupid. I felt weak. I felt like it was my fault because I ultimately, I did it. I didn't say no. I didn't stand up for myself. But in that same breath, you were only 12. When you got on that plane, you were excited about a fucking monkey watch, dude. Like, you were 12. How are you supposed to know? You were a 12-year-old girl who was surrounded by strangers that you want to be accepted by, that you already feel a type of way about because they were never around. You just so desperately want to be accepted, and just you didn't know what could you have done? You're 12. So it's like you can't beat yourself up about it, you know? You can't beat up a 12-year-old for not understanding the mind games that men play for sex. You can't. You can't call yourself stupid because you got manipulated by some older kids to do some shit that you didn't really understand, but you thought would make, you would be accepted. So you can't. But it's and as crazy as it sounds, it's hard. It's, I guess because I keep looking back at it from like my mind of where I am now. It's like even now, I'm what, 26, 27? I don't fucking know. In my mind, I'm 30. But it's like what I know now and the mistakes I make now. When I'm 60, I can't look back and be like, well, I should have known better. Hmm. There's a lot of girls out there. There's a lot of boys out there too. There's a lot of people out there being manipulated. You know, in much worse ways than I was manipulated. But the severity, that's subjective because who knows how something's gonna affect you. Yeah, who knows how it's gonna affect you in the long run. So, so now I have to. I know better now, so now I have to do better. It's like I want to talk to my mom about this stuff because she went to something very similar with her father, and this is what makes me like I have to do it. I'm gonna have a daughter soon, and it's like what I went through was a diluted version of what my mother went through. My mother was directly abused by her father. I was abused by people close to my father. So I have to break through that so that my daughter isn't abused by some male figure at an early age like her mom and her grandmother. Like I have to do that. I have to rewrite those genetics. I have to I have to do that, and I know better, and I know how to. I have the tools to. And honestly, for me, it starts by making this video because I'm really good at being alone. I'm really good at being in the dark. I'm really good at keeping secrets. I'm really good at handling things on my own. I find comfort in isolation. I find comfort in anti-intimacy. Like I find comfort in that, but I don't want to only be that. So for me, this is the first step to healing and rewriting what sexuality on all dimensions and on all its levels, what it is for me. Because it's no longer a tool to keep people happy or to satisfy people. That's what it's not. And that's not what it's going to be for my daughter. Oops. I guess that's my cue to stop recording. I guess I've said everything I need to say.